Hey y'all. Today's video is gonna be some signs, 5 signs to know if the hand of God is on you. Um, I'm doing this video because I realized that it was kind of hard for me to um see that God was with me. I had to come to the revelation of that, the realization of that, and also all that He's called me to be. But there was such a long period of time when I didn't even know if God heard me, knew me, saw me, any of that stuff. And I was suffering in a way that if I had known that, I wouldn't have suffered, if that makes sense. And I know I'm not alone. There are other people who are like this. So, really, the Holy Spirit will speak to you about this. But these are some signs that you can look out for that will let you know that the hand of God is on you and your situation is not just you, your life problems aren't just you. It could very well be the hand of God trying to get you to align with his purposes. So number one is if you're kind of weird. Um, when I say this, I mean you have a little bit of a difficulty with fitting in with people. Not like you're like a straight up freak, but like sorry, but yeah, you have a little bit of a difficulty. You probably are like maybe an old soul type or someone who just there's always like something deeper you crave for. Um Maybe you like fit in. I know like for me personally, like in school and just like in general, I fit in really well as far as like I could always connect with people, but then there was always this deeper thing that it's like, but I know this isn't exactly like where I belong, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but I never could like fully like belong to any group or anything like that. So, and it's still like that even though now I'm an adult. So, being kind of weird, oftentimes, and I don't know if it's like the Lord ordained someone like this or it's just your personality. I'm not entirely sure, but oftentimes this is an indication that God's hand is with you and he actually wants you for himself. So you'll find yourself really at odds with society. Maybe like when it comes to like societal issues, most of society thinks of it this way, but you kind of look at it from a different angle, or like you're not really big into trends or whatever the case is. I'm talking that kind of weird. That is where oftentimes where the Lord has called you to himself, wants to become more intimate with you, wants you to become more intimate with him. And his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. If you're going to really get him, you're going to be a little bit different from everyone else. And also, God is kind of weird, no offense, but he's a little bit weird, like in a good way, like in a very interesting way. I was recently reading the story about, I think it's Isaiah, I can't quite remember, but whoever he told to like preach naked or nearly naked, um, as symbolism for like, I can't remember exactly the story, but he told someone like, okay, I want you to take off your sackcloth, take off your sandals and go and preach naked and all like it's like, Lord, what? It's in your Bibles, it's in Isaiah. Oh, I guess it was Isaiah then. Um, Whatever. God has a very unusual way of doing things. So very interesting. And if you really read through it, you'll realize that he's kind of weird. So I imagine it's like if you're gonna get him and be close to him, you're gonna have to be a little bit weird. Um, Number two is if you have been under divine protection, or if you're not aware of what that is, you might consider yourself like a very lucky person. Um, or if you're going through a lot, but like a lot of bad things, but it didn't affect you how it should have. Like, say, like you've been in a number of car accidents, but literally you've been fine every single time. That could be a curse, to be honest. But it could also be the hand of God. I forgot to mention that when I first realized something was a little bit off about my life, like it just wasn't, things just weren't adding up, and I just felt like I needed help on a level that I didn't even know who to go to. I actually thought that I was under a curse. I was like, I am trying to advance my life and nothing is moving forward, and I have all the tenacity, all the desire, all the hopes, all the dreams. This is not adding up. What is going on here? I was a little bit annoyed, a little bit angry, a little bit confused, just a whole bunch of things. And as I said at the beginning, like if I had known this, things would have been totally different for me. So I wish I did, but you know, now I do. So I'm happy about that. But anyways, going back to point number 2, divine protection will look like either you never really experience any of, it could be excuse me, it could be like, how do I say this, it could be like whenever there's like danger or anything like that, you've always just somehow like gotten out of it before anything happened. Or it could be like I said in the example, that nothing ever is that bad, even though you've been through a lot. And for anyone else, they would have been badly injured or killed or whatever the case is, but not you. If this is a repeated thing, that's a really good sign that the Lord's hand is on you. Um, and it could also look like um, you being sheltered too, just like in general in life. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. Um, but if this resonates with you, it's probably for you. So we're moving on. Number 3 is limited life access or success. This was kind of my wake up call. And it's actually kind of similar to point number 2, that I found myself really not being able to advance in life. And my successes were always really small. And again, it just didn't match. It was like everything, like I tried, it was like I can only get to like this level. If you've ever watched my testimony videos, or most specifically my Ireland testimony video, I talk about how, and also actually my job testimony video, I talk about how, I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried, and it didn't work until I put it in the hands of the Lord, and then the situation turned around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew this sooner. Anyways, you might have very limited life access, be very sheltered, have that divine protection, all of that stuff. And that's just your situation. You might be really frustrated with it, especially if you know, like, there's just more that I want, or there's higher I can go. I just know it, but for whatever reason, you can't get there. Number 4 is feeling like something is off. What else did I write? Oh, a depth or satisfaction you can't get to. So, yeah, basically, again, that was kind of like my story, that I just realized after I tried to go, I tried at this job, I tried at this job, I tried at this job, and I wasn't like leaving, like, because I just wanted to, just something would always come up to where I couldn't stay there. And I also had a desire to save and to move out and to go to school. And all of those things, it was like I could see it like right before my eyes, but then it wouldn't come to pass. It wouldn't come to fruition. And I realized, this is really weird that it's happening like this much in every single area. Like, am I under a curse? And like I say, I genuinely did think that. The only thing that made me kind of realize, well, maybe not, is that actually the point number two, the divine protection. I'm like, I know you've been with me in some weird situations, even situations that I didn't even realize were like maybe as bad as they were. And I'm like, I don't understand. And I've always been blessed, so it something doesn't add up. But I was confused. It threw me for a loop for a second there. But yeah, if you're feeling like something is off, like maybe you are, you've got a good job or whatever, but you're like, you know what? I'm telling myself it's okay that I'm not settled down, that I'm not married, that it may never happen in this lifetime, but like it really does bother me. Or it bothers me that I can't have kids, or it bothers me that, I'm still in the same town I always grew up in. I don't know. Whatever it is, that's a indication that it's a spiritual problem. Um and when I say that, I mean like you need to seek the Lord in your situation. Number 5, when the results are not matching the effort that you're putting in. This is so key and something that I alluded to earlier. I was really confused as to why I worked hard, I'd stay late, I'd go in on my days off, all that kind of stuff. All my bosses always had high praises for me. I got along with all my coworkers. Like it didn't add up that there was so much that was right, but yet something was still so wrong that I'd still end up having to leave the job or whatever the case was. Um, and I found myself, it was in that, it was with the money situation, that I really couldn't ever save. I just, that was difficult, and I'm kind of frugal with my money, so I was like, this doesn't make sense. And also other situations as well. Um, it didn't make any sense to me. Relationships, dating, like it didn't make any sense that it's like, okay, we can get to this level, but then anything beyond that is like, no. And actually for me, it wasn't, I couldn't even like get to that, like, just, yeah. But it didn't make any sense because I had all the heart, all the energy, all the drive to do what I needed to do, but no results. Whenever you have a situation like that, please take note of it, even if the rest of the video isn't for you. Whenever the results are not matching the effort that you're putting in, there's something wrong spiritually. This isn't something to like brush off. This is actually pretty serious because it's either the hand of God or it could actually be that you are under a curse. What does that verse say? You reap what you sow. Whatever you're sowing, you should be reaping that. If you are sowing, not reaping that, something is off spiritually. It could be a bad, well, if you're not in alignment with God, it is a bad thing. If you're under a curse, it's a bad thing. So it's always there's something that's off, but it just you have to find out like how off you are, how wrong, how bad it is. The good thing is if it is the hand of God, you just need to submit to him and you're good. Um I hope this made sense. I don't really have anything else, so bye.